Workout number 1 starts in the open position, and we're going to play an E and an A chord. So let's take a look at the chords, and then we'll take a look at the patterns. So we have an open E chord, and we have an open A chord. Now, the E chord most likely will be played like this by everybody. You may have some people that might like to play it like this, but for the most part, it's safe to assume that everybody's going to want to finger it like this. Now, the A chord, that has a couple variations. What I do is I play it with a 2, 3, and 4 finger. That allows me the smoothest change from the E, which already has a 2 and a 3 fingering on the 5th and 4th string, and then I just shift that over to the 4th and 3rd string. So it makes for an easy change for me. I really only have to make an adjustment between the first finger on the E, where it's doing its job on the 1st fret of the G string, get rid of that, and then apply the 4th finger to fret the 2nd fret of the B string. So it's something you might want to consider if you finger your A a different way. Now, to the arpeggiation part. I'm going to be doing the surround technique here, but I'm going to be doing it within a consistent pattern. So I'm going to start playing the E with a downstroke, and then I'm going to continue to play all of the strings until I get to the high E string with all downstrokes until I get to that high E string, which is with an upstroke. And that's where I'm surrounding the borders of what I'm playing. In this case, that's from low E to high E. In the next bar, see that was the first bar, in the next bar, still going to play E, so keep holding that down. We want all these notes to ring as much as possible. So remember, all of these fingerings that I'm talking about here, in every chord, you have to arch as much as you can. In the second bar, I'm going to play all upstrokes until I get to the low E, where I'll play a downstroke, and that'll surround that pattern. So that'll be the descending consistent pattern. And then I'll finish it off with that downstroke to surround the borders of what I'm playing. This time it's high E to low E. Now in the next 2 bars, we go to that A chord. Another thing with fingering the A too, that I forgot to mention before, is my thumb comes over and will touch the low E string. So just in case I may make contact with that by mistake with the pick, or just coming off of the E chord, I want that to stop ringing. So I definitely don't want to press like I just did a little bit there. What I want to do is come over and mute out the low E string from ringing from a previous chord, and also to ensure that it won't ring either by mistake or sympathetically when I'm playing the A chord. Now, as for the picking, it's the same thing. I'm going to ascend pitches in this chord, so I'm going to come and start with a downstroke, go all the way up to the high E, where I will surround my border with an upstroke, and then play a final downstroke on the B string. So this is the first time we're starting to see within a longer pattern we have another surround situation. This time it's from the B to the E, or the 2nd to the 1st string. So remember, the rule is whenever I change direction on the last string, or the string right before I change the direction, is where I play an opposite stroke. So down, 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 up, and then I come back down on the B string. Now I do that because in the next bar, the final bar, I'm going to play this pattern. I'm going to start that on a downstroke anyway, and I'm also playing on the same string. So that's why I didn't play an upstroke for that final 2nd fret note there, because I'm not going somewhere lower. I'm staying right there. So I finish it off with a downstroke. It feels comfortable. It comfortably sets me up for. Now, if you find yourself looking down, which you'll see me do a lot when I'm playing these workouts, if I'm looking down, or you find yourself looking down, that's totally okay. You got to get used to where your right hand or your pick hand needs to be and what it needs to do. So eventually you'll be able to feel comfortable enough to look away, but in the beginning, if you're looking at this hand, that's fine. And that's another reason why you're just playing E to A. Not too much action going on here in the left hand, so you can concentrate on the right hand. This technique is all about what happens in the right hand. Even though the arching is very important in the fret hand, the action is here. What you're playing in the technique is in the pick hand. Okay, so let's do this. Let's start playing workout number 1. We're going to start at 40 beats per minute, and we'll play through that. I'm going to play with you for 2 minutes, and then we'll proceed on to the next 2 tempos. But let's get 40 beats per minute going on right now, and let's start playing some arpeggiation.